What's up? Yo, I think I have the slow mode up, so y'all can't chat at the regular pace. Give me a second. I'm good. Sorry, y'all. All right, how's everybody doing? I'm gonna turn this is chat thing off. I don't know why it's doing that. What the hell? Hold up, y'all. The fuck? Yo, someone's gotta tell me how to do the slow chat, turn that shit off. This is ridiculous. All right, yo. I'm gonna try to figure it out. I'm gonna Google that shit. But what y'all think about what's going on with Sterny in the settings? With old Sterns in the latest hearings. This is weird. What the hell? All right, I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on with the settings with the chat, because this is, I don't know how to change this shit. I probably shouldn't be cursing because they act weird on YouTube. Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Not. Yep. Boom. Yeah, let's go. All right. It had it on a delay where y'all can only message or chat once a minute, and I'm not having that. So let's go. I wanted to do a call in. I'm still trying to figure out the Google Voice thing. I think I set it up, but what are we gonna start with? So what's the first topic, yo? Jenny, I might want the delay soon, but right now I think I can keep up, but I know that'll change in a second. All right. All right. Okay, so I don't even know how to make the chat things post up on the screen on here. This is wild. Why is this not working? All right, this is starting to get me. It shouldn't, but it is. All right, I'm still trying to figure out how to make the questions pop up on the screen. So I'll figure that out in a second. But as far as the the TB, all right. This is wild, annoying pop out chat. What is that? No, that's not what I want. Yo, I'm still learning this, so like, just bear with me on this, please. This is weird. Okay. First, the TBI expert. I kind of deduced that based on uh what Stephan's mom was saying in the jail calls. It seemed like that was the last thing that they wanted to attempt, as far as trying to get some mitigating factors for Stephan, which is pretty futile, but I mean, it's worth a try. But since it's so late, it told me like this is something that how can I put it? This is something that they just got lucky with and were able to get the documents for, you know. This is all right. Whoever is on here that does live stream, someone's got to tell me how to make the questions pop up on the screen because I don't know how to do that. And it's frustrating. I know. All right, I'm trying to find out how to make the questions pop up so I'm not just. Yeah, I do need some mods. I'll next time I'll be on point with it. But what? All right. Let's just damn it. Let's just wing this shit. Let's just go from there. If you copy and paste this, it tells us how to post a comment. I wish I knew how to, but I'm not a YouTuber. And shit, I don't think I'm really a YouTuber. This is oh Jay, I'm not using StreamYard. I'm just going raw on YouTube. So help me out. I'm trying to be like you. I'm not trying to be like, you know, I'm really not trying to look like I don't know what I'm doing, but I really don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God. All right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set up the Google Voice and we're just gonna go from there and see it's easier for me to do call-ins than you know. One second, y'all. This is so I'm just trying to set up the call-ins for this. And then we can, and I'll be much better that way. Damn, I didn't know it was an app. All right. Yo, I appreciate y'all being patient because this is no bueno. All right. Well, I'm trying to set that up. We'll try to figure this out. Yeah, I'll just read the questions. I'll read the questions. Okay, Mia asks, Grish, will you please give us your opinions on the changes in Stephan Sterns' appearance? I can't tell if he's gained weight or lost weight. You know how some people, when they trim their beard or they cut their hair, sometimes they look thinner? He definitely has the haircut of someone who is not respected. Should I say that? Like, you get haircuts in there. So if you have a crispy cut, you're respected. Like, think about this. When Luigi Mangione went from when he got extradited to New York City from Pennsylvania, he looked, his eyebrows are all crispy, everything. So he had the he had that going on. And he tried to edge up his beard himself, but he just looks as he should. Like, not good. But there was a part where Stephan tried to lean into his lawyer to tell her something. I forgot who was on the stand at that time, and he leaned in, and she, as a lawyer, she's supposed to lean in, but her instinct is to scoot away from him because he's, one of those people. And that, I caught that. I'm like, oh yeah, she's not going all out for him. Nah, she's in a bad spot. I really feel bad for her. Because, like, you should have, most public defenders, they don't want to stay public defenders. They want to go and get the money. So, like, they'll get that case that'll get them out of the public defender's office and start taking real money. And this isn't the case that you want to, be known for, is defending that dude. And she's really not trying. She's doing just what she needs to. That just tells me, yeah, she hates every day that she has to go in there and be on TV and closing the trial to TV. That's what she was going hard for. She wasn't going hard to suppress any evidence or anything else, but she's going hard to get that off TV because she doesn't want to be on there. That's my opinion, of course. Why is this doing this? Does that work? Does that? Oh, that's not what I want. Shit. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to set up the Google Voice right now. You know what? I'll just set up one of these things. Give me 1 second, yo. That's so. Floofmeister says that Soviet communist flag tattoo. Yeah, it is. Not kind of, yeah, but it is. I'm trying not to worry about the tech stuff, but I'm so used to seeing everybody else have all these things going, and then it's like it's not the same. Foxy Amazon. All right, I see you. Yes, it is. I'm not all tatted up though. I only have 3 tats. Did anyone ever quiz Stephan Sterns about the dog bullcrap that Jennifer was trying to sell? You know, that's what Peach Tampa Bay said. I don't think anyone asked him about walking the dog. And I don't think he walked the dog. I don't think anyone walked the dog. Because I think Jim walks the dog around 9:00. Because that's what she did when she was at the hotel. She didn't wake up any earlier to walk the dog, and that's when dogs usually go at around the same time. And plus, you don't have to like coax a dog into going on a walk, especially in the morning. You just have to say, "You want to go for a walk?" Dog's up and ready to go, unless you have evil spirits in you, like Stephan does, and that's why I only think that would make that true. So what else? How did he get her to the car with the perf says? How did he get to the car with no one seeing? I think he this is so bad to think about, but I think they got her dressed in bedroom number 4. They knew who would be asleep. They know each other's habits. And then they walked her. He like carried her downstairs, and then Jen looked both ways, and he just took a run for it. That's such a morbid thought, but these people are different, yo. Let's see. Pretty sure the dog was neglected that morning. That's I wouldn't be surprised. When I watched the body cam footage from the 26th, and when the black cop walked in there and the dog was like looking up at the cop, it was like I mean I played the clip over so many times because I'm editing videos, so I have to. And it looked like the dog is like trying to tell him something, like, yo, it's them, it's them. And the cat too. Whenever if you really watch the body cam footage up close, it seems like the dog and the cat are trying to tell them something. It's like it Alana, okay, we're on the same page, but no tattoos, but love Grish's tat. Thank you, Kimba. Jen says, thank you for all your intuition picks up, always on point with the abundance from NorCal. I appreciate you saying that. That's one thing I really and up until like recently, I really noticed that it was more. I don't know how to quantify it, but my insight on things is valued by a lot of people. Before YouTube, I could get a call like, I'm going through this. What should I do? I'm the fix it friend. So, or I'm the figure it out friend. I don't, when my friends call me, they say, oh, this is what I'm going through, or what should I do about this? And I help them figure it out. And I didn't realize, like, really until started doing YouTube, that some of the things that I find really obvious are things that I'm able to figure out effortlessly is really rare. And I didn't realize it until like the comments that I started getting. Mia says, yes, your sixth sense is fantastic and extremely helpful information, like the dunking shirt. No way in the world would we have known about that. I know I wouldn't have it. Yeah. I thought that was plain. Well, I do symbolism art. My art says something without saying anything. So when I look at a piece of art, I really not observe, but I analyze everything that I look at that's artistic in nature. And I saw that right off the bat. I was like, oh, this is some weirdo stuff. You got a big man dunking on a small child, which dunking on someone is the ultimate sign of humiliation or domination. And that's really, it's an effigy of them. It's a two-dimensional effigy of them. And people still were trying to say, like, nah, that's not what that is. Well, what is it? What is it? That's not, it doesn't look good. It's the quality of the print is not that good either. What's it for? And there's two of them in the trash. Jay, guilty of crime. Did you know I'm an artist too? Did you know I'm an artist too, Gersh? I say things without saying them on art, tattoo art. You know what? You did tell me that, but I haven't seen your work though. Pineal gland. You know, people say like, before I knew what the term third eye was, people would tell me I have a third eye, and that my actual logo means third eye, and I didn't know all the pineal, whatever, all that stuff. I didn't know what that was until recently, and when I Googled it. Sterns hopefully thought the judge was actually going to throw that shit, not just making sure he can't claim bad counsel. That's why the what's her name? Michelle or Melissa Vickers? Miss Vickers. I forgot her first name, but her first name starts with M, so I'll just call her Miss Vickers. Miss Vickers is just doing what she can to get this over with. And I know when they filed that one motion about the having a witness that they can't divulge, and the judge was like, so your witness is a secret. I love that. And so and she just kept reading case law. She's not even arguing anything. She's trying to get this over with and covering her tracks, just so after the fact, Stephan doesn't get someone to file the Sixth Amendment thing, so it says you had insufficient counsel. People do that. I know one person, he got caught up, and he was doing his lawyer. I think his lawyer was a junkie anyway, literally, and his lawyer wasn't showing up to hearings and stuff like that, and that was his goal, was to do the Sixth Amendment thing. But they explicitly asked him, do you feel as though you have sufficient counsel, everything like that? And he had to say yes. And he did. And then when he got convicted, he tried to pull that stuff again. And he didn't get it. So he just went to jail and ratted out on everybody and got out early. It was a mess. But that's what's going on nowadays. Peach Tampa Bay says, I think the judge will allow the CSAM photos and videos from his phone. I don't see that judge. I think the judge kind of postponing it to give a written finding. I think that's he knows he's gonna let it go. He's gonna let it go through. It's just some things you just gotta nah. Like if you have when if this wasn't the type of case that it is, if someone gives up their phone to law enforcement and allows them to go through their phone, that's considered snitching. It's cooperation. So if you did that on your own. So it's not an illegal search when they already said, can we download your phone later on? Once you like, okay, for example, if something were to happen and the police are like, we need to you want to cooperate? Obviously, if I was one of those people, giving up my phone is considered cooperation, which is then considered snitching. And to define, to give you an example or a definition of snitching, a very simple definition of snitching. Snitching is a snitch is a person who chooses to break the law for their personal benefit and then chooses to assist those who enforce the law for their personal benefit. That's a snitch. Simple as that. So if offering up your phone is giving the police everything, you did that on your own. So you were in context of cooperating with police to find this girl. You gave them your phone because you wanted to look like you were helping them out. Because if you didn't do it, it looked like you were it looked suspicious. It's there's no way. I've never seen anyone offer up their phone in any other context. Like I've seen plenty of cases where someone gets arrested and then I read the paperwork and they don't give up their phone. They're not cooperating, but they give up their phone. Oh yeah, they're cooperating. Stephan gave up his phone. He's cooperating. It's not an illegal search. I never seen someone do that. Give up their phone. Give them their give whatever law enforcement is on you their password to their phone, and then say it was an illegal search. I've never seen that. What else we got? He admitting to accidentally factory resetting his phone twice. Coincidentally, the same day they reported. Yeah. And he did it 12 hours after itself. He did it at 12:06 and he did it at exactly midnight. That's, you know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make it look like a Y2K thing and it's just going to reset on its own. Rio says, he says hi to guilty of crime. Next time you chat with Deb, reminder what liar her son is. He sure looked well nourished yesterday. You know what? I'm gonna say this. Jay, don't get mad at me because I'm being honest. If you said I'm genuine, I'm being just that. Deb Jong-il has been manipulating you ever since she's been in contact with you. Same with Strategic Eyes. Same with Hidden True Crime. It just didn't work out the way they wanted. If they're in contact with you to make you change the way you deliver the information, that's manipulation. If they change the way that you talk about their son, that's manipulation. If they promise you an interview and if they want to do an interview on your show and you do live streams every day, then they should be on your show on your terms. They appear on your show, if not at least live audio, at least. But you gave them written questions and they gave you written answers. That's not an interview. That's a questionnaire. They changed the definition of interview on you. And to keep it fair, like, they need you more than you need them. They just try to make you think that what they have something of value to say. I know the way I'm talking about it may seem a little intense or whatever, but it's exactly what I say it is. It's a manipulation. They want to cover for how they looked in the police interviews, how they sounded, and then when they went on Hidden True Crime, they explicitly said they're mad at YouTubers. So they go on YouTube to get mad at us. And they can't, the only way that they can do that is by being in touch with YouTubers to try to make them change things up so they don't appear so bad. They're not helping their son, they're helping themselves. But it's not on you though. That's who they are. That's who they are. Jay, listen. I never said anything that you're just saying. I didn't. I'm telling you, like, if I'm telling you the way I see it from someone, and and no one said you're dumb or anything. I'm being honest and look at the bigger picture of what they're doing. They want to help themselves in their image on YouTube because they damage their reputation on YouTube, because they damage their reputation in the police interviews. That's all it is. It's an observation. I'm looking at this from not just like you as a person. I'm looking at the bigger picture on how they operate. I didn't say anybody was of subpar or no. It's not an intelligence thing. It's them looking out for themselves, not even their son. And Claudia Salas said, Luigi Mangioni's parents are not speaking out. It will hurt their son's case. Exactly. They're Luigi Mangione, he's from Towson. He's from Towson, Maryland. I used to live in Towson, Maryland. I'm originally from Maryland, and my first job was at a company at an old folks home that his family owns. They're not going to say, they let the lawyers do all the talking. That's what they have the money to not have to. You wouldn't even know who they were if they were up like walking down the street. You wouldn't know. And his crime has way more notoriety than Stephan Sterns is. And his parents have been known for a long time. His family, they own a lot of those health, like the retirement centers, nursing homes, all around Baltimore City, Baltimore County. They're out there, and you would never know them when you see them. Their son's done probably the most notorious crime as of late in 2024. That's what happened. 2024. You don't know who they are. They let the lawyers do the talking. But since Sterns' parents didn't pay the lawyers to do all the talking, but the Sterns only care about their personal image. They don't care about their son's image. When this is all said and done, you'll see. But like Stephan's parents just want the best for themselves at this point. They know what their son is about. Even when they talk on the jail calls, they talk in a way that's not even directly at their son. They're talking to themselves, knowing that there will be an audience on YouTube for it. And that's not, if you're in jail or whatever, you're talking to your people. But they know that it's going to be seen by the public. So they go about things that way. And they talk to the public, but to each other. It's strange. Miss B said, I love going back and watching things again with a hyper-focused hindsight of your videos. It's like a tonic to my ADHD brain. I have the same brain. I know exactly what you mean. I see what you're saying, Jay. I see what you're saying. But it's how I perceive it. I'm just telling you how I perceive it. Because I mean, of course you're utilizing it, but it's like those type of people, I just don't like them. And since like I kind of gotten to know you in a sense, it's like I feel a way about it when people like that do stuff. So it's not like, you know what I mean. You see YouTube people, not Jay guilty of crime directly, but I found YouTube to just be kind of a very strange environment amongst creators, and I just don't fall into that. I'm not gonna be weird to anybody. Like some people are just weird to each other on YouTube, and I mean, you're kind of. Some people are in competition for attention. I'm not. I don't see anybody in YouTube as a competitor. I just make the videos, post them. Hope y'all watch them. I watch other people's stuff. I support other people's channels. You know, but people are interesting on here. Stephan Sterns' parents seem mentally ill. I find Stephan Sterns' parents are even like kind of in competition with each other. Like one talks over the other, and it's like Deb says something reckless, and Chris tries to clean it up, and it's weird to watch, you know. Deb trying to divide the channels. Whatever Deb's trying to do, let her do it. Let her do it. And her getting those TBI documents. And no joke, Jay. I was kind of flattered when I came up with that the prediction about them using the neurologist for the TBI or MRI for, and Deb told you and you confirmed that they gave me a lot of, it's like that lets you know, like, I'm nice. So yeah, I does this. So many people, like when I first started and I would bring up stuff or say things or theorize certain things, people like, oh, you're crazy. You wear a mask. Like, nah, but I'm different. I'm different. You don't need to see my face. Just take the information as it is. I'll let you see my fire ass haircut though. Queen of Hearts says, I watch for insight. I watch on communities where I have an opinion that matter. Yeah. I watch if you're talking about if you're talking about a case that I'm talking about, I'll tune in. I participate on some of the live streams because I just like when I'm obsessed about a case. Trust me, the people that know me in real life do not want to hear it. They're just like, oh God, you got to talk about this again. Nah, I can go on YouTube and people are talking about it 24/7. That's me. Oh, damn commercials. Are they showing ads on this in the middle? Let me know. They are? Let me turn them shits off. Give me a second. I don't like that. Not in the middle. Scared of my. I think I changed it. I think I turned them off. I don't like that. I mean, not everybody's rocking with YouTube Premium, and I hate ads. I'll be watching something to be Tide Pods. I'm like, I don't. Nah, I think I turned them off. If y'all get them again, let me know. I'll try it on another setting where it'll go away. Queen of Hearts, have you earned your watch hours to get monetized? Yeah, I earned my watch hours a long time ago. They just didn't let me get monetized though until a few weeks ago. Comfort hoodies ads. I don't know what's going on out there now, but whenever. Nah, I've been rocking with YouTube Premium for years. Foxy says if you're ADD, ADHD ads, yeah, they do. It'd be Tide Pods. and it's always it's always on a good video, and then they hit you with that 5 second. Then you gotta find the remote or go on your phone and try to click off of it, and then you click on it by accident, and you're just like, Target. I don't want Target. Yeah, hopefully the ads are stopped. I'm not stressing to get ad revenue on a midstream. Like I'm not. I don't want y'all to be interrupted or anything. So if y'all get them, I'll try another setting or whatever. But I thought it looks like I turned them off. But yeah, I've been monetized for a month. So like I'm used to not getting paid for this. So like I'm straight. Cali Grio says, yeah, your art and perspective have been great. I appreciate that. You know what? Just like getting good feedback, I'm good with that. Like I like that. I like honest feedback. It doesn't have to necessarily be good feedback, but if it's honest, I value that more than anything else. So when you're trying to sleep and the ad starts blasting, yeah, then you just gotta pay that 20 to YouTube and just say, you know what? I'm just trying to figure out how to make the questions pop up, but I can't do it. Oh, let me talk about. Oh, I can. I think I can do this now. I think I can do the call-ins. 1 second, and then we could talk the talk. Oh, okay, okay. Let me write this down. I need. All right. Y'all want to do some call-ins? It's so much easier for me to just talk to someone directly and just, than just like reading stuff off the screen. All right. Y'all, all right. Let me just double check and make sure this works. Are y'all talking about addies now? Serious question that you could give insight. Do you think the pounding noise that one of the roommates heard was Stephan crushing an Adderall? Nah, because it won't make a pounding sound. It'll be like, if that's what they were doing, it would be like this. It'll make that sound. Did you hear that? It's not gonna make a pounding sound. Especially the kind of the ones that Madeline was getting. It was they were the extended release, which they had the little pellets in them. And the little pellets, they're like rock, like a real hard rock, and then, so they would put like, say you have like a smooth surface, like have a notebook, and then put a dollar bill over it, and then take like a lighter or like a vape thing and just go over it and crush it that way so it's flat. They'll do it that way, but it's not going to be it's not going to be like a hammer hitting. In my opinion, he's putting down power tools. Like if you go like this, like and you put this down, that's the kind of sound it would make. And she heard and the thing is, like, the way that, like, Angelica described it, she was just like, it was like, he's not going like, he's going like, that tells me that whatever he's screwing or unscrewing is real easy. It's probably stuck in the drywall or something like that. It's nothing that is really bolted in there hard. It's something very, very soft, like a shelf or something. If you look in the closet in bedroom number 4, there are brackets up against the perimeter of the closet. And those brackets will hold shelving, and that shelving's gone. So I don't know what was going on in there. Who knows? More of a thud and crunch. Kinda, but if someone's like really knows what they're doing, they can get away with it kind of more silently. And I think Stephan, I think at first I thought he was taking all of Maddie's stuff, but being that they found a substantial amount, he was probably getting those off the dark web too. And those are in tablet form, and he probably takes enough, he doesn't have to go that way. People don't know benzo are used for date. Yeah, they are, but yeah, I hate. Yeah, people use those for those things, and I think that this is what Cali Grio's asking. They do use them for, that stuff, and I think her being very sleepy the next day of school told me that, yeah, she's probably being given that and she doesn't know, or in some kind of way, or maybe she does know. I really put a lot of thought into that, because those those bars off the dark web can knock you out, because they're way more potent. You don't know what may be in them. And some of them, like, there's certain shows that they'll show, some of them have like 5 milligrams in them, when the highest dose, like, of a regular one is 2, and 2 is high. And for that'll put you to sleep for 15 hours or something like that if you don't have the tolerance for it. So if she's really tired off of those, she's developed a tolerance, which tells me that he had to use something else that wasn't going to make her sleepy the next day. And that's where my sevoflurane theory came in. Jay has lots of autopsy report. Have you seen it? I've seen a few things. My main thing about the autopsy report is that it says there are two reports, like a preliminary report, and then there's another report, and one says asphyxiation and the other one says strangulation. And that kind of solidified my sevoflurane theory, because asphyxiation just means you hypoxia, which is lack of oxygen, because of your trachea being blocked some way, whether it's something is blocking your trachea from accepting oxygen. Now, if you like manually strangle someone, you'd have to use a whole lot of force to get get their trachea to shut. When someone passes out from being choked, it's from their like carotid artery, their arteries here blocking them, and it keeps the blood from getting to your brain. So, in my opinion, he gave her sevoflurane, and that doesn't show up on drug tests. It's not something that's recreationally used. It's an anesthetic meant to put you to sleep for surgery. And when I saw that in the documents early on, I asked one of my friends, he's an OBGYN, and I asked him about sevoflurane. Like, is this like a commonly used anesthetic? And he said, not so much. And if they do use it, if they do elect to use sevoflurane, they combine it with other anesthetics, such as fentanyl. Because when you come off of sevoflurane, you get a lot of nausea, and fentanyl keeps that from happening. So he probably administered it, like put it on a rag or something and put it over her nose. She's out, but it won't last long. I've been told this by a doctor who's my one of my boys. Like, he knows how this stuff goes. And I asked him, is this plausible? If he did this because what of the type of person he is, and he told me, yes, she would have woken right back up and started vomiting. And I think, being that vomiting is not quiet, he did something like that and just like grabbed her here and to make her be quiet because Natalie's in the next room, and that's what happened. I think she vomited and she choked on her vomit, and it was too late. And it only takes like 35 pounds of pressure to break or dislodge the hyoid bone. And from what I remember, the hyoid bone wasn't like broken. It was more like it was like dislodged. It wasn't. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but there's another word for it. But the thing that I want to mention is the DNA. The DNA. I'm surprised no one spoke about this. If I were Jen, I'd be super scared because the way that they're doing the DNA in this case tells you we're coming for you a little bit later. Just hold tight when we get this first charge out the way because we're coming for you. Like, when most of the time on television, in true crime shows, they talk about, oh, they tested the DNA. So it gives the impression that when you test for DNA, like say you touch this carton of coconut water, right? And you touch it and then they swab it and they're like, oh, that's Grish. Nah, it's not quite like that. There's so many ways that they can test for DNA that they want to find now. So when Brian Koberger, when they got the sheath, they don't swab the sheath and then it says Brian Koberger. They did a Y chromosome DNA test. A Y chromosome. All right, men have XY chromosomes. women, XX chromosomes. If you test for just the Y chromosome, you are testing, it was like a Y, I forgot what this is called. It's YSTR. It's like I can't remember, but in men, the Y chromosome from father to son almost doesn't change. So you're pretty much the same dude genetically, like 1 out of 9,000 when they test that DNA. It's not like 1 in 20 septillion when they get the whole chain of DNA. They're only looking at the Y chromosome DNA. So when they're swabbing these things, they swab the DNA, then only test it for Y chromosome DNA. So Jin wouldn't show up at all. But that doesn't mean they didn't send it somewhere else and they took a sample from Jin without her knowing it. They do that too. But wouldn't you think if they wanted to charge Jin now, they would put it, what am I trying to say? They would have swabbed her with a warrant or with her permission. And then they would go and say, they swab the DNA, they'll say, all right, Stephan, Madeline, Jen, whoever. But they're only testing for male chromosome DNA. That's all they put on there. And then one of them, they said, we saw hairs and things like that, but we didn't even test it. Why not? Because they know whose hair it is. But if they put it in the documents and it says Jin, it will mess up Stephan's case and it'll have Jin on high alert. It will mess up Stephan's case for the prosecution is what I'm trying to say. Because it adds that extra layer. They're trying to get him out of here. But they're coming for Jin. Because when they really test that DNA, and I bet you they already have it. I bet you they already have Jin's DNA. They could have got it from her toothbrush. If they didn't get it from her toothbrush, when she left the hotel the day that Stephan got arrested, the police went in there and searched the room. She left one of those Coke cans in there with her DNA on it. And then they have the sample from her. It's just that she doesn't know that. And they do that a lot. They'll get a sample. You leave something. There's a case, a woman named Stephanie Lazarus out of California. She was a detective in the LAPD. She had an ex-boyfriend that was married. She was hella jealous. She went and then knocked his wife off. And she bit her arm. And when they swabbed it, they didn't have the DNA. This is 86. They didn't have all that. So then later on, they suspected her and they got DNA from a cup she dropped off at the mall and knew it was her. They're going to do that for Jin. I know a lot of other creators are saying, well, the DA says this, the DA says that. The DA says they don't have any evidence. I never believe what a prosecutor is saying about their plans. You can't. Hell no. You should, if you're doing something, regardless of what it is, someone close to you gets picked off by the feds or the state, you're looking in their paperwork to see what they're doing, to see who they're investigating. That's why they have sealed indictments and stuff like that, because people who are close to other people or people who are like low-key, like kind of have some attorney knowledge, I'll read your paperwork and say, yo, you better gear up because they're coming for you. But that DNA, the DNA evidence, the way that they put that through, oh, they're coming for her. They know a lot more. And just seeing those people, those different kind of police on the stand, it's like you can't look at them and tell like you think they're not worried about just the phone evidence not getting in. they know a lot. They weren't really worried. Tagler wasn't up there worried. What's that? Acosta and other guys? Not to be weird, but they like that's a good looking department of law enforcement. Like that's why Jim was acting like that, you know. Not on some, but like I don't know, like there was an ugly person that went up on the stand. They seem unbothered by that stuff. Oh, whoops. What did I do? I lost the chat. I'm trying to figure out where I did with the chat. Hold on. Hold up 1 second, y'all, because I can't see the chat up on my screen. All right, there we go. I'm gonna do the well, let me make sure this works. Hold up. All right, this is we're gonna try to do this right. I'm gonna put the number in the chat if y'all want to call in and say something. Hold up. This will be a lot easier. Oh, you want Jay to Jay call hit me up. Anybody can hit me up. It's all good. A techie, I'm good at what I do. I edit videos, I make art. I'm not like a programmer or anything like that. Expect late night text. You wild. I'm hoping this works, yo, because I just got this number, so yeah, don't get all shy, yo. Y'all are wish I didn't have to crash out so soon. Hold up.
Press 1 to start the call or to decline. Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start. The call will start at the beep.
What's up?
Hey,
Who am I
let me
supposed?
get this off of here. It's the Cali Grio.
Who is this?
It's the Cali Grio.
Cali Grio. What's up? What are we talking about?
Yeah, straight out of Cali. Straight out of Cali.
What part of Cali?
I'm out here with you guys, with you and Jay.
What's up?
Well, I just wanted to compliment your rag, first of all. It's clean. It's clean. I mean, it's sharp.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, so you've been doing a really good job on the investigation and coming up with different points of view. And I'm not understanding what you said about the DNA. Wouldn't Jen's DNA be all over her own child, all through the house? What do you mean?
Okay, when you have when they swab for DNA, usually they swab for the whole strand of DNA. So it's like one out of a bazillion. Now, what they're doing is they're swabbing for only male DNA.
You're talking about off of the baby's body, off of Maddie's body?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If you look at the document, I wish I share my share.
I know about that because of Jay. Jay's been talking about the body had him on there.
Right. But that's all that they're testing for is Y chromosome DNA. And so they toward the end of that document says YSTR. That's not all DNA. They're only testing for male DNA.
Right. They did the same thing with the Idaho case.
There you go. You know,
they didn't test for any female DNA, and there's enough females out there that could, what I call the mean girls. I see how they could have done it or had it done or been a part of it, but they didn't take any female DNA. What's up with that?
Now, the Koberger case is different than Sterns because I'll tell you why they did it that way in the Koberger case. When you have they have the sheet, they can pull the DNA. The DNA, when they pull the whole strand, they put it in CODIS. It's the cooperative DNA internet data, something like that.
Right, it's the FBI machine.
Right. If you're a convicted felon, you're on there. So he doesn't have a record. So when they test for that DNA, nothing's gonna show up. So what they do is they take the male DNA and then like put it against not just CODIS, but other like the genealogy.com, all those things. And they see if any other male has part of your DNA because you're going to have a higher chance of catching someone with a male with part of that DNA because men, father to son, their DNA doesn't change very much. So like there's, you know what a haplogroup is?
Yes.
Okay. So from way back prehistoric times, we have certain haplogroups of people from different parts of Africa, Europe, and things like that. But when they test for that male DNA, that gives a very better chance of them finding someone that you're related to. So his dad did one of those ancestry.com things. They got his DNA from them because he was part of that strand in that haplogroup. And when they saw his strand, they compared it to Brian Koberger's strand, and it's a genetic match for father and son. So then they knew to go after Brian Koberger because he doesn't have any brothers. You see what I mean? Now, the difference between that and this case is that they're very positive that the only male in that house is Stephan. They're suspicious of. And the only woman that they're suspicious of is Jen. Correct. But if they test the DNA, they have to, if that's why they didn't swab her. Because if they swabbed her, then they'd have to charge her when they test the DNA a full strand. Because when they do a warrant for your DNA, they're saying, we think your DNA is this, so we're going to swab it. But they don't want to charge Jen now. They want to charge her later. So instead of charging, like taking Jen's DNA, they probably on the low took it, tested it versus the sample that they got covertly. But they want the reaction that says Stephan Sterns. So they test for male DNA. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but still at the same time, her mother's DNA should be on her. It's her child.
It is.
She lives with her.
It is on her. But when they swab Madeline's skin, they pick up Madeline's DNA, Jen's DNA, but they want Stephan now. So they only
right.
So when they sent
it's just like they wait to charge you until they have enough evidence.
There you go.
And then so you got two cases. So you don't want it to have it messed up because you got two suspects now.
Right.
So they just wait for the second suspect later on down the road. Oops, we came up with this DNA.
Right. When they
Is that what you mean?
Right. When they swab the DNA, they swab all the DNA. But when they send it for analysis, they only send it for Y chromosome. Right. See what I mean? So they have Jen's. I bet you they have Jen's DNA on deck. Like they could have got it from a Coke can or whatever. They know it's Jen's DNA because they have Madeline's DNA. And so when they swab Jen's DNA, they know it's a genetic match for Madeline. They just wait on it. So I don't think they would pounce on Jen now because you see how the defense is trying to.
So what do you think? You think that the skin under her fingernails matches Jen?
Hell yeah.
That's what you think?
I think this, like, not just the skin under her feet. I don't think she had direct contact with Jen when she was alive.
I do. I think both. I think they got in a fight.
That's what I thought.
I think they got in a fight. I think that maybe. Well, see, this is something I really don't want to say, but I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
At 13
just
years
YouTube friendly.
old,
Just YouTube friendly though. But say what you like.
Yeah. At 13 years old, if you've been using benzos, or benzos have been being used on you since you were 8,
yeah,
you've developed an addiction.
Facts. I can believe that.
Okay, so by 13, you're wild. You saw her cussing out her mama when you did that text close-up, right?
Yeah, she was venting to her friend.
That close-up. Remember the close-up? They were fighting, and she told her little friend what her mama said, and then she said the B, something like that, back to her. Remember?
Yep.
So Maddie may not be that sweet little, kid that, you put on that face, but then I remember in junior high school, they wouldn't let me wear my mini skirt. So I'd go in a regular skirt. Before I got on the bus, I'd roll up the top of the skirt and my short would be as short as I wanted it. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
So at 13, I was wild. I was doing all kind of experimental things at 13.
Yeah.
Me, myself, you know what I'm saying? So maybe since he had her groomed so much, you don't think they were doing casual drugs together? Casual this and casual that? Because her eyes look so dark, Grish. Her eyes on every picture look dark.
I know. That's the sad part. I agree. Her
That's
face.
What makes me think she had a habit.
I think she had. All right. I'll tell you this. I thought about this a lot because this stuff happens to young women with dudes that are way older, and they do weird stuff. They start them off, and that's they. And I think that it wouldn't be in Stephan's best interest to have her like that all day. Like, I don't think she was consciously. I think she may have gotten a habit off of it, but I don't think it was that strong because if you look at the evidence of the dates that he would do stuff, it was Thursday, Sunday night. like clockwork. It was this, like almost all the charges are Sunday night and Thursday night.
Oh.
He would, and you know, with benzos, it's every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think,
but look, but wait, isn't one of them? Look, ain't they taking one that's an upper and one's a downer? The benzo's a downer, and the other one that they use for ADHD is an upper, ain't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, but hear me out on this. Like I got a PhD in this stuff, all right? So like, you kinda, you know what I mean? Like I know my stuff.
I feel you.
But I don't think it's in Stephan's best interest to have her like that, because you're one drug test away from your whole thing being blown out the water. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but wasn't that supposed to be some of the stuff she was on?
Who, Jen?
What was the prescription? See, because I don't even know if the little girl had a prescription.
She had a prescription.
But she kept saying that she was ADHD. So what did Maddie have a prescription for?
She had a prescription
for. Did Maddie have a prescription?
Yeah, Maddie had a prescription for Adderall XR 25s, and then she had Adderall instant release 10.
Isn't that an upper?
Huh?
Isn't that an upper? Isn't Adderall an upper?
Yeah, but if you got ADHD, it just makes you calm. Like right now,
if you don't have ADHD, because Jen knows she probably didn't have it.
Look,
I mean, I want to know where the psychiatrist is. Who gave her that stuff?
I'm just
or did she get it from a doctor?
I gotta go to the next call, but I think if she's got ADHD, which I do believe, I do.
You did. Okay.
I do, and I do believe that, and I just think that when you have ADHD, it doesn't feel like an upper. Like right now, I took.
Right, I understand that. I know exactly how it works. But yeah, get to the next call there. I appreciate your time, and yeah, you keep at it. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Be safe.
And I'll hit you back.
All right.
Okay. Peace
out. Be
safe.
Mm-hmm. All right. The person that called in, call back. Let's see. Oh, hold up. I think I got this wrong. Hold up.
To decline. Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. The call will start at the beep.
How you doing?
Hey, it's Stazzer here. What's up, man?
What's up, bro? How you feeling?
Good. I'm actually at my job right now, but had a little time to check out your stream and then catch up on here and chit chat about this case for a little bit.
Okay. What's going on?
I was just putting out in the chat because you were mentioning about what the DNA situation is possible with Jen, and I was just asking. Now, do you think that? And I know I talked to this with Jai and Jay, and then Alexi speculating and a few other people. But do you think that the prosecution is somehow going to use Potato as a sacrificial lamb when they have her on cross-examination with defense? Because that's the one thing I can think of, to where if they're waiting to deal with Sterns first and then deal with Potato later, do they want to have her get on the stand and make a fool of herself and get verbally destroyed maybe by the defense, and then they can use that to where they can charge her then with whatever they can charge her, mostly probably like neglect maybe, after the Stinky gets found guilty? Because I don't think they get found guilty either way.
I think that are you saying like use Jen as a witness or something?
A sacrificial lamb. Like they still want to get her, but either do you think they're going to put her on the stand because they know the defense is going to hit on her like crazy, and she's going to verbally say something to screw herself over?
You know that I don't think they put her on the stand, because if they're trying to discredit her later, I don't think Jen's been so dishonest up to this point. If they put her on the stand, it wouldn't be a sacrificial lamb situation. It'd be like, what are you doing? I think they're going to put Sterns in a place to where he catches 30 plus years for this case. It's an aggravating factor for the next case. And when he gets convicted, before he gets convicted, all right, we're not going to go for the death penalty if you take Jen down, take Jen with you, and he tells the rest of it.
I see. Okay, yeah. I mean, that would make sense too, because that's why I've always just thought it was just strange that they clearly knew that Jen Soto was involved with her daughter's after. Let's just say at least they know that she was involved in covering up. Now, proving if she, helped kill Maddie, that's, they would have to prove that if they ever get the trial for that part. But I've always just felt that they knew that she was involved with aftermath. It's just, why are they going this route if they already know, or at least have enough evidence to show that she was involved in the cover-up?
I think the prosecutions is going the way that it'll be easiest for them, for both of those people to get the most time.
Mm.
So, like, if they can't, they're not going to, I highly doubt that they're going to prove Jen as part of the actual unaliving itself. Like, I personally thought in the very beginning, I thought she did this. But as I did more research, I asked people that really understand how certain things work. I think that Madeline was passed away like right before Jen got home. And so Stephan was probably tweaking about it. And so at that point, I think they got her dressed and made their script and got it together. So at the very least, Jen would get, I think at the very least, Jen will be charged with child endangerment and then get charged with after the fact, homicide after geez, I know accessory. This. Yes, accessory after the fact. Yeah. I'll get Jen a good 15 off that.
Yeah.
So
I know, like I said, with her allegedly, secondly, I've always said that if they could really get her, which I've always said was neglect, like at the very least. But then again, what you just said, that's another factor where they could get her, just of course proving to the jury whenever it goes to trial. But at this point, there's so much inconsistency, she said. And I just and I've always said this, I don't blame I keep forgetting his name, the male detective that really got on her in her final 2 interviews before that she did I can't even say it right now. You don't want to talk about the
Murphy,
deal, whatever.
Murphy is his name. Murphy.
I think that was the one that had like the black top and then the green pants or something like that, or khaki pants. But yeah, he was the one that I've always said that at the very least he was the closest detective that we saw visually, even audio wise, that really got on her when she mentioned the whole Woody Allen and she lied. No, I'm sorry. She said multiple times different stories about the freaking sick arrangement.
The what?
I just kind of wish he went on her a lot more harder. But
about what?
I always said that he
went harder on her on what?
I always said that I kind of wish he kind of went a little bit harder on her. I've always said that I don't think Jen would have ever asked for a lawyer. She, at that point when I can see in the video footage where she's changing her stories, when you quickly trying to divert the situation when they ask you about certain things. I kind of wish they maybe caught on that a little bit more on her. But I mean, I still think he did a great job, like showing that she's such a huge liar and she knew a lot more going on, at least with the abuse.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one guy that interviewed her on the first, I think he started leaning into her. And if I remember correctly, I'd have to go back, but I'm almost certain it was right after Thomas Karras called the police the first time. So when they said they found Madeline's body at like 4 o'clock or something, I think they actually found it a couple hours beforehand. And when they found her body, they texted them. I can run it back. I can do a video on it and show you. There's a part where they both react to a text, and then immediately he goes in on her because he knew where they knew. I think it was at like 2:45. I think it was 2:45 p.m. They get that text, I think, and then they start leaning in on her. So they knew more than what they knew more than what they knew when they first got into that interview room.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that again, but I'll really letting other people get on.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm on my job, but it was nice talking to you, man, and just talking about this case. And I have my fingers crossed, at the very least, think he's going to get it one way or another.
Yeah.
I know some people nervous about this delay with the trial, and I get it, but I mean, just have the mindset and the knowledge that he will get found guilty.
Yeah,
without
a doubt.
So, and stick with Potato. Her time is coming.
Yeah.
So everyone in chat, take care. Thank you, man. Take care.
You too, man. Be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Bye.
Yo, can y'all hear good on the because I got it on speakerphone. Oh, you can? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. A couple people called while he was on the phone. What I want to do is just have like a quick question and I answer it so we can go to the next person. And I can talk and I know all y'all are really into this case, but I want to, if people want to talk, like give them a chance. Hold up. Let me. Oh, I don't think I have my ringer on. I don't have my ringer on. So try again if you tried to call in. Foxy, that is the worst lineup right there. That is the worst lineup. You say Vi ads that? Nah. I object to that one. I think I have the number right. In terms of, okay. I posted. Oh no, wrong. All right, it's 410. Okay, hold on. Oh, it didn't work. Try again. No, area code 410-873-1167. My bad. Damn, it's saying 419. 410-873-1167.
Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press.
Why is it doing this? Try again, yo. Try again. Hello?
Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start the call. The call will start at the beep.
Hello? Yeah, what's up? Who's this? Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get the speaker on. All right. All right. Who is this?
My name's Liz.
Liz? How you doing?
Yeah, I've been watching for a while. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
What are we talking about?
I love your videos. I absolutely love them. I was just binging them today while I was at work.
Oh.
I was wondering, and I don't recall if you actually talked about, and I don't know if you want to, about the pregnancy theory. Do you have anything to say about that?
I think I don't think she was pregnant at the time, but
at the
I think
of the murder?
I don't think she was, but I think she's been pregnant before.
By him?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on the significance of her birthday money that was mentioned very quickly in the body cam video by Stephan Sterns?
Yeah.
When they asked what she had left behind. What do you think about that?
I think there was an incident, I think at Christmas time, that they got the money went missing and Jen said she found it. But I saw in the I saw it in the evidence photos that came out kind of recently. I looked over them again, and in Jen's drawer, there's a birthday card. There's a birthday card envelope, and then there's a birthday card, and it's like a Hallmark card, and it's the narrower one that holds money. And even though Jen's it's a narrower birthday card. It was the back of the birthday card, and it was narrow so it could hold money in it. And even though I couldn't see the front, on the bottom of it, it said cumpleaños on it. It means birthday in Spanish. And so I was like, okay. So that had birthday money in there. So, and it was in an envelope to mail it. And it looked like it's been postmarked by the way that the condition of the envelope looked like it went through the mail. And then there was another envelope that was in Madeline's handwriting that says money in here. And those envelopes were in Jen's nightstand.
Okay.
So
do you think they were worried about money? They had money troubles at the time, and they were coming after her birthday money?
I think Jen didn't have the type of access to money that Stephan did. I think he kind of looked out for her. Like I think he was selling CSAM from whatever channels.
You think what was going on between the two of them? Or between him at least?
What do you mean?
Do you believe that? Do you believe that they were profiting, or he was profiting off of that? I've never come to a conclusion on whether I believe that was happening or not.
Yeah, I do. I think he was profiting off of it and then turning around and buying drugs off the dark web, then turning around and selling those drugs on the dark web and in person to people. And that's how he got money coming in. And also he could sell stuff. He could sell stuff online, and then people will take cryptocurrency and pay you in Amazon gift cards. So you never hear Stephan Sterns going into a store other than a vape store and buying anything, but he has all those Nerf guns and all that stuff. Jen has, and I had my lady look over at the sink, and she's like, "Yo, those are some expensive skincare things." Even though she's a potato, she has some expensive skincare stuff. And
potato version.
Yeah, she's
and the Botox too.
She got the Botox. Yeah. You know, Xanax plus Botox will destroy your face. And she doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
So I think he was buying stuff through Amazon that helps Jen out, but wasn't giving her money. And you can't buy, and I think she was taking Madeline's money to go get Botox.
Okay. So what do you think about the people reporting that Maddie was stressed out about not receiving enough birthday money and really wanting birthday money? Like it was a big priority for her to get cash for her birthday.
I think because I think most kids want money, right?
Yeah.
I
do you think there's a big part behind that?
I think she wanted money because she wanted to get out of there. And I don't think she was mature enough to understand what it takes to really go on your own. But the intent is, but I think what's more important is you don't want to leave and run away unless things are that bad. I'm more concerned with the intent rather than the maturity to understand the ability to be able to do so. So if the intent is there, she wants money to get out of there. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it's all about.
Okay, and another one, a little off from that, is the call that happened between Stephan and Maddie before he went out there. I think Sunday is when it happened, that his parents saw him visibly concerned. I've always speculated that it was something about pregnancy, but I don't ever think that for sure. But what do you have any theories on why he may have been so stressed from that call? I think that's huge. Whatever it was, it had to be something. It had to be like one of the motivating factors for what happened that night.
I think that when it comes to what Chris Stern says to Stephan on a jail call, it can kind of be gassed up a little bit. So like you were real worried for you went out there, but you don't remember when he went out there. Like you had to ask him when he went. You see what I mean? Like, so if you have to ask when someone went, you can't, but you remember when they were so stressed out that day, that doesn't really line up. But I think that when Stephan asked Chris for some kind of benzo or some Ativan or whatever, I think that was for Jen for the time being. That's what I think. And I think that Stephan was expecting something in the mail that would benefit Jen, and he wanted something in exchange for Jen, which is obviously her daughter. They had something going on.
You think she's totally aware of that?
Say that again?
She's exchanging. You believe that she's totally exchanging her daughter for benzos and her addiction and her potato face. You know.
Are you asking me if I really believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
I do too.
Yeah, I believe it. Like some people, when they go down that road, it's more like when people are hooked on stuff, it's more important to them than water or anything like that. They need it just as much as water.
Yeah, and I've noticed, I really do believe, well, I can't say I really do believe, but it seems like Jen really had a normal relationship with her daughter, like just by pictures. So I can't really say for sure, but there seems to be that they had like a loving relationship. And she seemed adored maybe before Stephan came into her life and before addiction started. Like it seemed like it wasn't always fucked. Like she didn't have like a strained relationship like some moms do. Like it seemed like there was some love there.
Nah, let me switch. Pictures can lie. You ever go on someone's Instagram and you see their relationship and be like, they hate each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no different. Anybody can look like they cool. I've been in pictures with people that I don't like, that I've kind of like end up being in a picture with them, and other people know they don't like each other.
So you think she's one of those moms that might have never bonded with her kids, or no. I mean, there's several factors.
I think everyone in Jen's life is just part of the machine. They're just a cog in the machine. So like, I think that Madeline was conceived to trap Tyler, and when Tyler stayed with his woman, I think Madeline was a thorn in Jen's side since before she was born, and every day she's reminded of, I have to maintain this person. That she wasn't like, think about this, yo. She wasn't really raising Madeline. Everything is about control, routine, and being under Jen's Hawk eye, right?
Yeah.
That's all she cared about. As long as she did this, and this. There's nothing about that. Jen doesn't even compliment her daughter in a subjective way at all. Jen's jealous of her daughter. You can tell there's friction. There's friction between Jen and her mom, and some of those pictures, Madeline looks like Jen's mom.
Yeah, a lot of them, like a lot. But like she's way prettier. I mean, we got a potato versus Maddie. She's gorgeous. She's a beautiful young lady. Do you think that her other family, like the grandma and the aunt, I believe that she was loved, and there's a lot of speculation that like they may have known about it and chose not to report it. I think that's really far-fetched. I think she was loved, and then there was like an arrogance to what she was going through. And then the grooming for Maddie to keep it silent and act like everything was okay on the outside.
I think Jen is like
a little more manipulative.
I think Jen is a manipulative person. She's not super sophisticated, but part of her ability to manipulate is not looking intelligent. It's like to take your intelligence a step back, so you wouldn't suspect her of something. And I think that Jen is the antithesis of Yolanda. So like when Yolanda, you can see she runs a business, she has her office, she's handling stuff. If you look at her Instagram, she's on there, she's pitching all her sales, everything. Jen's not like that. Jen is a parasite.
Mm-hmm.
She's a parasite. She found her ex-husband. She's like, oh, I need someone to help me with this kid. I'm gonna find a dude. I don't think Jen really likes men like that. I know they say she's bisexual, but I don't really. I just don't see her the way that she was like up on Stephan when they were in the interview, and she was just rubbing him like she was doing like that. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah, I don't feel a romantic relationship actually between them. I don't know what's going on. And listening, I'm sure you listened to the jail calls where Stephan kind of stuck up for her, like, hey, she lost the daughter too. I don't really understand that relationship. I feel like they both protect each other a lot. I don't really get, and I don't see like any type of sexual relationship between them. I wouldn't know, but it just doesn't seem like they have that like sexual relationship. I don't know what it is. It must be like a business partnership where they're both making money, but like I'm surprised there hasn't been, as far as what we can see, more flipping on each other, which I'm sure there is behind the scenes.
Jen and Stephan's relationship is addict to plug. That's all it is.
Yep.
Jen,
and she has and the money is Maddie.
Yo, Jen moved the plug in. That's how, as simple as that. And he used her address to land packages. If you take Madeline out of the equation, all right? If you take Madeline out of the equation, everything that Stephan did was textbook. I got a woman to help me land packages. Okay. And she wants a piece of what I get, and she's going to pay me. But the currency, unfortunately, is a child. So if you take Madeline out of the equation, he's using her address to land packs because he's still getting mail at his parents' house, and he gets all those Amazon packages in the mail, and with stuff that has like drugs in it. When someone gets Amazon packages all the time, when you have that one envelope and it has 1,500 bars in it, no one's going to notice it. And he's not going to be there when it shows up. He's going to show up on Sunday, not on Saturday when the mail runs. He's going to show up on Sunday when they know the feds aren't outside.
I've never thought about that aspect before. That's interesting.
People do that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about that stuff, but that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, yeah, he calls it his home and all that stuff in interviews and stuff like that. Like, he must refer to it.
He looks like he lives there. I mean, he has stuff that he said he moved out, but he still has a bed there. No, he uses that as his address to land packages, to land. And for someone like Stephan, that's a dream come true. He can live there, not live there. He can. Everything that Stephan wants to do, he can land packages there. He can sell stuff out of that house. He can get Tamagotchis in the mail, sell them, all that stuff. He can do all these things, but he can't do that with Deb and Chris. But he can do that at Jen's spot.
Okay, so he hasn't made, and he's I hate to say it, but he's so intelligent. I mean, he's an intelligent idiot, but I mean, he's not as dumb and doped up as he's trying to portray. So all of that kind of makes sense. But I want to get back to that pregnancy thing because that's what I'm so stuck on. It's kind of my theory that it all happened because of pregnancy, but I can totally see that not happening.
Yeah.
So, but your theory of that she may have been in the past adds up to why they would have like pregnancy tests, the two, just in store, just in case, and then her mom tracking the period, which is what makes me sick to my stomach. That the fact that she was tracking that, so the fact that she may have been pregnant, and wasn't currently. What is your theory on why it happened that night? Do you think it was spontaneous? Well, I think he definitely traveled there that evening to do what he was going to do, and that was not spontaneous. Do you agree?
I don't think it was premeditated.
You don't?
No. I think what was premeditated is him to incapacitate her with a different chemical other than a benzo to do what he does and film what he does so he can get money on the dark web and sell and get drugs and get drugs to give the gin. It's a cycle.
Yeah. Okay, because I was like, it's not a regular thing. Maybe he needed money, so he needed to go out there and do what he does. Or, you know what, maybe Jen needed the money, so he's like, all right, let me come make this content and make us some money. And
Madeline's getting money from her birthday. The thing is that in my understanding of just what I'm observing from Stephan and what I've seen in the evidence photos, the type of money Stephan gets, you're not spending at the Botox. You're not going to the Botox place and getting 70 units in your face. You're going to, his money is through cryptocurrency and Amazon gift cards. So if whatever you're getting can't be paid with that, you ain't getting it. And so Jen wants what she wants. And think about this. Remember how Jen said, she said, I forgot to take my meds on Saturday. So I felt this wave of depression on Sunday. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so when she says that, she also has a blood work appointment on Monday. Benzos stay in your blood for 48 to 52 hours. So if she doesn't take her meds on Saturday, it's most likely because she has to test clean on Monday morning. So her wave of depression is not from not taking her meds. Her wave of depression is withdrawals. You get what I'm saying? And she can't take her stuff until Monday. So because she has her blood appointment, then she could take her stuff. But Jen's gonna want that in hand. Jen's gonna want that in her hand before Stephan goes upstairs. Stephan wants what he wants, but he has to give Jen what she wants.
So to give an image of, it seems like all of a sudden they're needing this money. So they're wanting her birthday money. Now he's coming down to make this money on, speculating, making content and selling it. So it's like she maybe had a back stock of medications that she was taking and now she ran out, or maybe even just a bill, but like all of a sudden they need money. Is that what you think?
I think it's just a cycle. It's a cycle of a transactional relationship.
Previous weeks, I mean, since he's moved out, I'm sure it was like a regular cycle when he lived there. It just seems very random. Like when he came out there that night is what got me to reflect on what was so like spontaneous. That obviously the story that he needs to come out there that night so she can sleep in for her day of not working. It's not random.
It's not random. Like these people don't do random stuff. They're calculated. They're calculated people. Right. Everything in his evidence says Thursday night and Sunday night. It's not random. So let me. I mean, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm trying to get to more calls, but I appreciate you calling though.
Sure.
Okay.
For taking my call.
Yeah, of course.
I love your stuff. I never miss a video. I hope you start posting more because I really look forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Okay. How y'all doing? I might run for like 10 more minutes and I'm getting a little sleepy. I like these calls. I like talking to y'all. And I had a couple calls while she was on the phone. If you want to call in, you can call in. I'm gonna try to keep it like a couple minutes, you know. I used to be like a debt collector and stuff and do sales on the phone. But I'm not trying to get in that mode over the phone. I'm trying to be personable. Do you see what that was? Anybody gonna call in? Y'all are shy. Y'all were calling in when she was on the phone, like back to back. Okay, here we go.
Press 1 to start the call or 2 to decline. Press 1 to start at the beep.
Hello, ¿cómo te puedo ayudar?
Krish?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, this is Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. How you doing?
Oh, good. So, I work with kids who have been sexually abused. I'm an RN.
Okay.
And part of my job is when kids come in after an attack, we take care of them in the hospital, collect the evidence, and I've testified in a lot of trials. And it's like the most awful, great job you could have.
Yeah.
But we talk about this case at work all the time because it's just so mind-blowing. They've never charged the mother because they could easily get her just for neglect, right? Slam dunk.
Yeah.
I think they've chosen to not because they're worried about a Casey Anthony situation and they don't want to give Stephan any kind of plausible denial when he goes to trial, right? That's what I think. But what kills me is they've lied about everything, right? Like they obviously had a story concocted, this whole story about, oh, she was embarrassed of the car. That's the way it always was. The one thing they didn't lie about, which to me, again, mind-blowing, they didn't lie about where she slept that night, right? Isn't that crazy? Of all the things I wouldn't want to tell the police right away is that, yeah, she slept with my 40-year-old boyfriend. It's okay. Yeah.
I think
that I don't understand why they didn't do that.
You know what? That's a good point that you bring up. I thought just bringing up saying that they sleep triple cheeseburger in the bedroom downstairs was crazy. I thought that was wild but I don't know if it was like maybe they thought to themselves, we have to insert some truth into this. If we can say that this is what our sleeping arrangements were, maybe they wouldn't think we would do the rest of this stuff, like whether it's intentional or whatever. I think sometimes people, they will admit to lesser crimes when they're trying to get away of a more serious one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think too that to them it was so normal that they just were in such, I think Jen, I don't know what the hell her problem is, but I think they were in just such absolute denial that there was anything wrong with this, that it didn't even strike her to lie about it. I mean, like I said, unfortunately, I see this stuff all the time. But I can't imagine, I can't even think back to a time where somebody told me, like, yeah, everything was okay. She was sleeping with my boyfriend. I don't know what happened. I've never heard that. And right. I've heard a lot, trust me.
And I'm glad someone with your credentials is saying that, because I tried to understand this as much as I can for someone with my background. And it's like I when it comes to just her, I'm wondering if maybe their frame of reference is so off that they don't realize that what they're saying is weird. You know what I mean?
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, to me, it's just, she's the first pin, right? Like, if she wasn't so negligent, this wouldn't happen, right? It just blows my mind. Obviously, he, bears the guilt as well, but like that they haven't charged her, it just blows my mind. And we talk about it at work, like I said, all the time. Like, any news on that? Not yet.
Yeah, it's. But when it comes to convicting people of crimes that they've done together, but at different times, sometimes you have to take they take them down one by one,
Right.
So they're not gonna take sometimes you have someone that's involved in something with another person, but their participation is so different that you can't do them both at once because they'll overload the prosecution with all their weird motions and stuff. Like, imagine if Jim was on trial right now. It would be crazy. Nothing would get done. So they have to do it this way. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I've seen people, of course, for different types of stuff, get arrested back to back to back, and they've been running with each other for doing, whatever they're doing. It's just that's the order that they wish to go in.
Right. I think they probably just said, we definitely are going to get this guy. Obviously, he's probably going to face, the DP at some point, which he should. But would he even be there if it wasn't for the mom allowing it? But it's just the way it is. So again, I've testified, I've seen this. I can't remember anyone ever telling me but my daughter sleeps with him all the time. It's fine. I mean, I've never heard that.
I think
and I thought I've heard it pretty much all.
I think it's a combination of they're inserting the truth so you don't think the worst, the more severe offense occurred on their watch, and that their frame of reference is so off they don't know what's normal. They've been doing this for so long, and
Yeah.
it's I've thought about this a lot. It's very, I don't understand it, but in due time, I think we will, one way or another. There, once everything's said and done, they'll say what really happened. It might be under very different circumstances, but I don't know. I really it's something I want to know, because it just doesn't. They don't even think of it. They talk about it and they acknowledge that it's weird, but they don't acknowledge how weird it is. And Stephan even himself in that thing says snuggle cuddle time. Nah, bro. This is there's something off about them. Maybe it's they don't think what they're saying is crazy because they're barred out, but I don't know.
So I'll tell you what the running theory is with the people I work with.
Okay.
Again, we've done this a long time. And this isn't just my theory. It's child psychiatrist, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they assume, based on the evidence that he has and everything, that he was interested in younger children, right? He didn't start attacking her when she was pre-adult, when she was, say, 12, right? He started when she was young.
Yeah.
Right? So it probably indicates that he probably likes children younger, right? She's probably at the age where it's kind of he's probably waning attention, right? And generally speaking, for kids, that is the most dangerous time. That is the time you are most likely to die. And I'll call you a famous case, but I wouldn't doubt that he was kind of bored with it. It's been 5 years. He's had this for a while now. It's not his age group anymore. Even when she was saying she likes somebody else, I have no doubt he was thinking of pimping this young girl out. And the whole thing about, God knows, all his contacts on Telegram and everything else, all these other people. Oh, I'm interested in someone else. Maybe he was trying to arrange that. And things went sideways. She changed her mind. He was going to drug her up for it. When you look at the Stephan Sterns case, right? So he gets abducted as a young boy. And when he's about Maddie's age, of course, the pedophile is now no longer really interested and abducts a much younger boy. And this kid finally realizes, hey, this guy is probably going to off me because now he's got a kid that age and he escapes with the young boy. It's an incredibly tragic story all the way around.
Let me ask you a question. With someone with your background, what do you think about the possible TBI defense as a mitigating factor?
Well, it's not going to work. First of all, it's Florida. It's just not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But even if he took no care to cover his tracks, he'd probably have a better chance, right? Mm-hmm. But like when you're saying like I have impulse control issues, I'm now like socially, inappropriate because of this case. Well, that's okay. That could happen, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that could be. But here's the thing: if you knew all that was wrong, you probably wouldn't go to great lengths to cover it up.
Right.
Generally speaking, in cases where there's been a successful defense for, mental defects, traumatic brain injury, it's because the person was incapable of covering up.
Good.
Right? Not because they made great strides, even if they didn't do it successfully. I don't think, when I looked back at Florida through jurists, I don't think I saw any case where it was used in an adult successfully, where somebody actually tried to cover up.
Yeah,
I mean, here in New York City, like there was a guy who was pushing people off the train station, right?
Yeah.
And he was obviously schizophrenic, and it was awful, and people died and everything else. But he was obviously, the person who was doing obviously mentally ill, right?
Right.
Profoundly ill. But on the other hand, wasn't making great lengths to cover it up. I think you could maybe argue traumatic brain injury, although it would be very interesting because I know if he's going to use that defense, the public defender is going to say, great, well, he's had a psychiatrist. He's been treated for ADHD, so he's seen a neurologist. Let's see all that. Has he mentioned a traumatic brain injury, which I'm sure he hasn't in all those years?
Ooh.
That's probably going to come into it.
I like that. I like that one. So if he's, well, not all people with ADHD have seen a neurologist, but even though like ADHD is a neurological developmental disorder, like
even if it was just a regular medical doctor who's prescribing it, to be able to prescribe those drugs, I believe in Florida as well, you need a special certification. It's like a 12-hour class, I think, that you have to take. But one of the questions would be a detailed neurologic history. So it would be interesting to me if Stephan, after all these years, has been saying, oh, yes, I had a traumatic brain injury as a child, which I doubt he had. I doubt he's been saying that. I doubt it.
I like that. I bravo. That I like that. That's it. Like what the cases that I've read up on since I figured out the TBI neurologist thing, I'm thinking none of these cases, if they use it as a defense, really has worked unless they prove they really did not know what they were doing.
Right.
Like they didn't know it, like they were out of their mind. But the act of covering up shows that you know what you're doing is wrong. So I appreciate your call, yo. That's really good info. If he didn't state that in his other neurological issues like ADHD and whatever, I love it.
Right. And I mean, let's face it, obviously his parents had tried to hook him up with doctors to get him, even before this weekend, he was having some kind of huge panic attack, and they were trying to help him get into a doctor who would prescribe him benzodiazepines again because he was out of his prescription. I mean, a big part of those drugs, especially if you want to get them, is saying like, hey, look, I had a traumatic brain injury. I'm sure he hasn't been saying that all these years, right? I'm sure this whole thing was just like, totally forgot it until you had to pull it out of your pocket because the police are asking about it. So I'm sure, and let's face it, Florida doesn't have a really great track record for using it as defense. Like I said, I hadn't found one defense where it was successful, where the perpetrator also tried to cover it up. So I really just don't think that he has any chance.
I got you. I appreciate you calling in. This was I feel well informed, and you gave me some extra insight that I really appreciate.
I love listening to your channel. Keep up the great work, Chris.
Thank you so much. You be safe, okay?
Thanks. Good night.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Yeah, I might do one more call, y'all, and then I might have to call it a night. But what did I see in the chat talking about trolling? What did I? Let me scroll back up. Is there a way to search? I don't know. They said I need my. I'm getting that. I'm working on that, and I've gotten so many offers for them. It's almost like I don't know who to really rock with on that, because it seemed some people that have contacted me. I'm gonna have to just vet them, because I've heard things what people deal with on other channels, and I just don't. I don't. If I'm just not like these other people, yo. Like I don't BS on my work, on my craft. I've been doing this for a little bit for $0 because I love doing it. I don't tolerate the BS or whatever that's going on with some other people. I've seen this happen with people who have mods and stuff, and I take this seriously. Like I don't play, and I've noticed like little stories and things I've heard of people getting, just YouTube stuff with mods and people trying to, you know what I mean? I'm just not having it. I'm not having it, and if it don't fuck with me. That's it. I do this out of the love of editing videos, and because my creativity is what I wake up every day. I'm editing videos. I'm doing something creative as soon as I wake up. I make a living off my creativity. And if someone gets in my way on any kind of just some, you know what I mean? I've just seen it. I've seen it on other big channels where mods do weird stuff. Boy, just listen. I just don't. I don't play that. So I have to really vet people. And I had, especially after when I first started talking about this case, when I was interacting with people on Reddit, that H Ghost guy emailed me with a female avatar, like sounding like a female, and like I knew something was weird after like the third message on Reddit. And it's like those type of people, like they insert themselves in these kind of spaces, and this is I'm more concerned on how I would react to someone doing something like that for real, not on what they would do, but how I would react to that if one of those people. I don't like those. That's what I'm more afraid of. When I didn't know who H Ghost was, I didn't know anything about that. And then I was talking about the roommate's interview in Spanish. I was like, let me get the audio to that, because there are certain things that I heard that could have been done better by the police. And I was going to do a video about it. He sent me the audio, and then he was offering to send me pictures that were of Madeline at a younger age. Nothing salacious or in that realm, but he was sending me photos from like when she was much smaller. And for me as a video editor, I'm not trying to use pictures that aren't up to date. They don't tell the story. And I'm reacting to them. I was like, oh, they're cute. I don't know. But I'm in my head, I'm like, hold up, yo. I don't want this stuff. And right when I was about to pounce, it all came out. Like it was like H goes this, H goes that. I swear to you, I was livid. If I was on the West Coast, dude, if you're watching this, if I was on the West Coast, your address online, bro. I shouldn't say it on the internet just in case, you know. Boy, that's what I'm afraid of. It's something weird like that. Posse says their translation of those interviews in the Spanish words would be you know what? Their translation wasn't so bad. I don't think either of those dudes that were translating was that bad. I think they had a difference. Okay, let me just say this to you. So I've worked like different over the phone jobs, right? And like one of them, I worked in collections and I used to do calls in Spanish. Okay. And before I would get on a call, I would set the way the call is supposed to go. What information are you trying to get? What are you trying to get out of this? Now, what's going on with them that you know of? And then set the way the pace of the conversation is going to go. I'm not a good translator, but if you let me know what the information I need to get, I'll get it. But the way they're doing it, this dude, the detective is asking the police officer to ask her questions, and he's just hitting her with questions back to back to back to back. And the first cop couldn't ask clarifying questions. And first of all, culturally, you can't do that. You kind of have to take in the answer that she gives you and then form the right question after that. You can't do it like in American, like Americans say, all right, what time were you there? What time did you leave? Would you do this? Would you do that? That guy can't keep up and just translate it, and she's hearing it, and it's like, why is he asking me questions like that or anything like that? Like it becomes so tangled up. And then the next cop, he asks clarifying questions, but the detective won't let him do his thing. Sometimes you just gotta let the person get the information that you want on their own in their own words. And he's using terms like flirting and this certain things, like it just kind of sounds weird in Spanish, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like it's certain phrases just don't translate. So I thought it could have been done better if they had a better game plan going in. And the fact that they did it twice tells me that the detective didn't think about, maybe I could do this differently. He didn't think about that. He wanted the answers he wanted in the way that he wanted them. And that will work if you're speaking English to an American. But if you're speaking to a Latina who lives here, whose main language is Spanish, you just have to understand the way that a man is supposed to talk to a woman in a certain way. You don't just like hit her with questions like that. You gotta, when she speaks, you listen, and then you form a question that you're not pressing her like that. That won't work. It just won't work the same way. You can't talk to a Latina like that and expect the same result as talking to an American. I'm sorry, that's what it is. It just doesn't work, yo. And that detective did not let either one of those police officers just let the answers flow. It has to be more of a conversation. It can't be you can't do that. That's my assessment on that. and things were literally getting lost in translation. Like Missy Q said, things got lost in translation. Yes, they did. So when, for example, when Angelica said, I saw tools on the table. All right. She said she knew she saw a hammer. She didn't know what the other tools were. Fine. If the detective would have let, I think if maybe this on both of them, but he didn't let the police officer, the immediate person that was speaking Spanish, say, okay, what color were the tools? If you don't know what they are, you know what color they are. Because if you're a real man and you have tools, like a real man has tools. If you don't have tools and you're a man, like what are you fixing? That you're supposed to fix stuff. That's because you're a man. So if a man who has tools isn't a contractor all the time, they just fix stuff around the house, you're going to have a different grade of tools. Like if you've got Milwaukee tools, you might be a real contractor. If you've got something like this, if you got Ryobi, I was a roofer. I can fix stuff. I don't have experience fixing, but I'm not like the professional, and I'm not an idiot. The color of the tools will tell you the branded tools. The branded tools will tell you the person that probably owns the tools, because Stephan doesn't do shit. So he's not going to own tools, right? So if he has a high grade of tools, you will know they didn't belong to him. Now the question is, who do they belong to? But I zoomed in and I sharpened the photo, and I can tell that hammer was something like $10. I know that's not even a heavy hammer. It's not going to hit nothing. It's all narrow and skinny. It's like, nah, you need something that's got some weight to it. He didn't have that, so I knew he wasn't. And those were like battery packs on the table. Those not battery packs, but like AC adapters. Like when you have real tools, the battery comes out. You're not hooked to a cord because you're moving around and doing stuff. You know what I mean? It's little stuff like that could have got more. She heard power tools, but y'all could have just narrowed it down to at least the brand of tools or something to know what you're looking for. Do you just have tools sitting all over your house? Yes. Who asked me that again? Let me look. And plus, I think Jen's dad, I think Kalani had he was in some kind of like contracting work. So like Stephan could have jacked his tools or something. You know what I mean? Like just more information can tell you where the tools came from and tell you what he might have been doing. But who asked me, do I have like tools around my house? Yeah, I do. Like, what am I don't like know what's weird about that. I don't have everything where I'm at right now. I don't have everything, but I always have tools with me. It's just I'm the fix-it friend. That's what I am. So Makita, that's what exactly. Commander Alfred, I have a Makita. It's probably a Sawzall or something like that. Like, and men with that, I'll tell you something. My mom's ex-husband or my stepfather or whatever, he's a total just so lame. And he thought it was a flex because he has money that he could just call someone to fix something. And that's better than having a toolbox. Puh. He had like a hammer, a screwdriver, and a wrench. Couldn't fix nothing. And my mom who's a super narcissist, used to just berate him. Like, yeah, you can't fix anything. He was so weird. But like, yeah, not. And if you're a man that's watching this and you don't have tools, go get some tools, bro. Women like when you fix stuff. When I was a roofer, bro, you up on that roof and you fixing stuff. I'm telling you, I had some crazy looking coworkers too. Crazy looking coworkers, and some of these women that be walking their dog. I had a coworker with no teeth and a swastika on his chest. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Well, he has that chief craftsmanship. I cheap one. Now he has yellow and red tools. Look, Milwaukee's red. You see what I'm saying? Yellow and black. Get some tools. Learn to fix something. Build something. You feel better about yourself. You don't have to call anybody to fix stuff. I made my one video talking about how I fixed the furnace. I got major points off that. I've never done anything like that. I was a roofer. I wasn't no HVAC. It was literally Siberia in here. I was literally going to be Говорю по-русски сейчас, завтра. I was going to speak Russian immediately, now, tomorrow. That's how it was, but I fixed it. I turned the heat on and went from Siberia to Nigeria in about 1 hour. Yo, got me, see? Some bitch got me a sawzall, went to town cutting down trees. See, look. You got Walmart brand is blue. You got to start somewhere. But if you're a man, there's not many men watch my videos. I have 92% women. But if you're a man, like, look, get some tools, bro. Fix something. Learn to build something. You'll see. You'll get some. Women love that stuff. You can use Cindy from Sunnyvale, California says you can use YouTube University to learn how to fix anything. That's a fact. YouTube, it should be youtube.edu. That's what it should be. There's so much knowledge on here. The information's free. People are just giving the information away. Like, so I paint on plywood. This is not one of my paintings, but my other spot, I have paintings all in plywood on the wall. And the epoxy resin I put on them, I learned how to do that on YouTube. Everything's free. The information's free. Carolina Hurtado says, Chris, you're fixing the furnace was very educational and informative tool. Thank you. You know what? When I did that, it was like, oh, this is a good way to show the difference between a static and dynamic problem. It just fit. It wasn't I was trying to say, like, look, I fixed something. It was a perfect example to show, like, that the type of problem solving that Gray Hughes is doing versus how you should probably solve the problem. And it's a good way to show it in a different light other than like just solving cases. It's a real world. It's an identifiable situation, something you can identify with. Melanie Copeland says epoxy art is fabulous. Yeah. I don't do epoxy art. I cover my art in epoxy resin, but epoxy art is dope. I have a couple friends that do that, but I kind of want to do it too, but I don't want to look like, like I'm trying to do that. men don't fix things anymore. I know. Some don't. I don't know how I got on that topic for I wonder what happened to those roommates. Not in a nosy type of way, but like sometimes like I listen to the audio and I'm like, I don't suspect them of anything. But sometimes I wonder, like, if they think like, how did I get to this point? How was I right there and didn't know? Like certain things like just happen right in the next room and you don't know. I would be if I were in that type of situation where I had a roommate that was, you know, I wouldn't know how to. I would be, oh man, that's something you definitely need therapy for. Anne-Marie says maybe they suspect it. Maybe, but they did. I think Natalie said that she brought it up to Jen. So she brought it up to Jen, and Jen was like, kind of shut that down. And then she went to, I think, Jen's sister. You know, what are you talking? I don't know. Chris, Jen said Stephan Sterns was thick. What? Jen said Stephan Sterns. What? What is that? I don't know. That's something like, that's weird. Some of the stuff that Stephan Sterns was saying that Jen and Madeline said, it was just so off. It sounded so cringy. I don't know. Chris is still going. Roxy, Evo Alaska, are you worrying about the volcano? All right. Tuna King J for American Day. I don't know. Oh, I think yeah, I should. I do need to go to sleep though. So I'm gonna shut it down now. It was good talking to y'all. And if you were here early on and I was struggling to get all this stuff right, and you stuck it out with me, I appreciate y'all. And everybody that called in, I really do appreciate y'all. Honest feedback, good or bad, I appreciate that too. Trolls, whatever it is. Troll, you know what thing about trolls? They don't, I think people get affected by stuff more, like, it just doesn't really, like, if you have to be aggressive with your keyboard and you can't see it to my face, you don't mean it, in my opinion. Like, if you have safety behind the keyboard, if that's what's going on, that's what it is. So Me, I was accused of being a troll for criticizing the choice of platform devs. You know what? What people do on their platforms is their choice. I'm not going to be overly critical, especially I'm new. No one's going to tell me how to do something. Tell me how to edit a video. Good luck. I'm not going to tell someone else how to do their thing. I can tell you what I observed from what I'm seeing, but I'm not going to tell you how to do your thing. That's their art, that's their craft. But if I give honest commentary, I'm just, I might not have like the, I don't know what they call soft skills. I know I'm very direct in my opinion when I have an opinion. And I'm not going to state my opinion until I see enough factual data to be able to state my opinion. And if I state my opinion, that's what I honestly think. Foxy, is there a merch store? I'm building that website. I gotta finish that up. I'll have one up ASAP. But let me get out of here. And if y'all want to hit me up on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. It's Grish.0, just like it is here. But I really do appreciate y'all. I know it sounds cliche, because I've watched YouTubers say, "Oh, I appreciate my subscribers." Are not. And then now I'm making videos and I'm reading these comments. I'm like, yo, this is really, I do this. I've been doing this for free. So it's like, it doesn't matter. I love sharing my creativity. I love it. And I love when people appreciate it. And I love when I have an idea that people actually take the time to listen to, and they see it through my lens, and it actually fucking hits. And for the longest time, I've always stated, I'll have an idea about something and it'll be like, oh, that sounds really left field. That sounds crazy. And I try to explain it, but I don't think in words. I think in images. And now I have the images and the words, and it's like, you see things the way I intended it for you to see them. We can be watching the same thing objectively. We can be watching the same body cam video, but subjectively, I see it different. And now you see it the way I do. And it makes sense. And I've gotten some comments like, oh, you're not getting 300,000, 100,000 views. I don't care. I max out at 6,000, 10,000, but all those views are real views. And not only that, most people watch my videos on average 2 times each video. How many people can say that? Not many. You can have 50,000 Air Burger views, or you can have 5,000 solid views where people actually say, you know what, I thought about this. I came back and watched your video, and I really like your insight. That's it. I don't care if I have 5 views with that. I see this YouTube space a lot differently than I did before, and it's like I've watched different creators in different, like, true crime is one thing, but like let's just say true crime. I've watched true crime people talk about the same case different ways, and I appreciate what they say, and it's like, you know what? I can do that. And I taught myself how to, like, for one case, I'll bring it up later, but like now I'm gonna talk about it now. But I taught myself how to edit videos like 4 years ago, and it's like I just kept getting better and better and better at it. And then people are like, you know, can you edit videos for me? And now I do that for other people. Look, yo. Like, all I do, I have ideas 24/7. I sit on the computer, I edit videos on my phone. And it's like, now I don't sound so like wild when I have an idea. My friends know when I say I have an idea, they take the time to understand it. But like most people who just meet me, and because I don't have surface level conversations. If we're not interchanging information, if I'm not learning something from you, I don't really talk to you. So when I talk to people, before doing all this, sometimes I'll share an idea and it just seems so wild to them, but to me, I see it. And it's like, now I post a video, and then so many different people all over the place take the time to watch it. And I love that. It's just a great feeling, yo. And so I really do appreciate y'all. So rant over. Like I said, sounds cliche, but I hope y'all know that I really mean this shit. And I did look at Karen Reed. I have a video on it, my little theory, but I didn't look at Karen Reed's case enough to have an opinion, but just a couple things I thought of. But Grish.0 on Instagram, I'll post more on there. And I'll try to do this a little bit more regularly, maybe like once a week or something, you know. But let me let y'all go to sleep. 211 y'all in here, 200 likes. That's what's up. That's what's up. You know what? Oh shit. Look at that. That's what I like. I never asked anyone to subscribe. I never asked anyone to like. I never asked. Y'all do that because on your own initiative, you think my videos are worth it. I love that shit. And on that note, y'all be safe, all right?